It's the 15th of what's the 8th month? It's the 15th of the 8th month in
August.
the year 2022.
Yes.
August.
August.
It's the 15th of August. I'm Commander John
August.
Trax, and this is the Loose Screws podcast. I'm back. I was on vacation and now I'm back. And while I was gone, apparently, I don't know, something happened or something. I don't know. Let's talk about
Something.
That.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Joining me tonight is Chig,
Wait,
Dubs,
what show is
Data,
this?
and Teflon. What?
Hey,
I already said what
is
show it
this?
was.
Oh, did you? Okay.
What's with this just introducing everybody who's here just outright instead of building
Instead of making
suspense?
it. Oh,
man.
okay. Hold on.
Not
Everybody
ask
forget
me
what
how
you just
my
said.
day went.
Data, shut up.
Hey, don't talk to him like that.
Okay. Joining me tonight is Commander Chig. Hello.
Hi, I got to apologize to everybody for my audio last week. I don't know what was happening. I think we've got it fixed. If we don't, I don't fuck you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we the guys did not hear him sounding like that. We have nothing that there was nothing I could do, but we have future solutions we'll talk about later. Also joining me tonight is Commander Dubs.
Hi. Don't listen to Chig's apology. He did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing.
And Commander Data is here.
Hello, everybody.
Excuse me, Dr. Lieutenant Commander Data. Dr. Commander.
Oh, you are rusty. You haven't been here in a couple
I was going to
weeks.
let
You
it
can't
slide
even
because you were gone
bow.
last week, but
Yeah.
you just kind of made it awkward.
So this is my second podcast recording tonight
Yeah,
because
it's Dr. Lieutenant. No, it's Dr. Commander Lieutenant Commander Dubs.
You got it. Chig's always on it.
Yeah.
He's
you did
on top of it.
call him Dubs earlier. You're like, shut
Yeah.
up, Dubs.
And if Dubs is a doctor, I'm scared. All right, go on.
I am also joined by Commander Teflon.
I am eating hot and spicy Vienna sausages.
Oh, man. It was good.
Lucky.
Yeah, they're
I
the
love
best
Veeney
kind.
Weenies. Yeah.
Hot and spicy. I can't eat the regular kind anymore.
Eeny Weenies.
Veeney Weenies.
Veeny Weenies. Can you please spell that into where I write the show title in the notes?
Not Beanie Weenies. Those are different.
Veeney.
Vienna sausages. I call them Veeney Weenies.
I've heard other people call them that too.
Put them on
Is
a
it
saltine.
VEI?
Beanie Wieners.
Well, Vienna.
Veeny.
I don't think there's an official spelling for it. I think
it
it's
like
just kind of
that?
a slang term for them.
Beanie Vici.
What do you guys think of that spelling that I wrote there?
Oh
Anyway.
my God. That means I got to look at show notes. Hold on.
I guess I should open them.
Speaking of show notes, did anybody do anything in this? Because this is my first time opening this in
I
3
don't
weeks.
think they've been opened in weeks.
Yeah, we've just been firing off the hip lately. I'm
It
gonna be
looks
honest
like
with you.
somebody put some things in here, which probably means it was NL Hate, even though he's not here. He usually gets in here and
Should spell it
If you want-
Weenie Veenies.
I can
Weenie
come at it
Veenies.
if you want me
Weenie
to.
Veenie.
No, I don't want Teflon anywhere near the show notes. Last time he did that, I had to spend a bunch of time fixing a bunch of changed fonts and stuff. Okay.
Somebody did
Right.
do shit in here.
These are really
I'm
good.
seeing stuff in here.
Okay. So let's do a what's been up, because and I guess probably we'll save the what's been up in, well, I don't know, whatever. We'll do it normal. Chig, what's been up with you the past week since we could all not hear you?
Oh Jesus. I don't know. Work as usual. COVID ripped through my house for like a week and a half here. My daughter got it first, then my wife, then myself.
Oh, no.
So that was fun. Quick, painless. Yeah, that's it. I've been playing. I'd like to say I've been playing other games and stuff, but every time I go to do that, we get some. Can people see me doing air quotes? Exciting updates for this game. But we'll talk about all that stuff later.
Foreshadowing much?
Bum, bum, bum.
I think by now they already know.
I already know. Dubs, how have you been? Were you on the yeah, you were on there last week, right?
do believe I was there last week. I don't know. My memory is not great, but this current week has been pretty bland. Just going to work. Not really very eventful since the last episode.
Just doing it. All right.
Yeah, just doing. I did play Elite more this last week than probably the month before, but I guess we'll get into that more later.
Okay. All right. And hold on. I can do this.
Take your time.
Doctor, Commander, Lieutenant Commander, Dubs.
Got it. Like a glove.
A glove?
Like a glove.
Like
Wait.
one of them fucking the rubber glove that you tear every time you try to put it on.
Data,
Yeah.
it's Dubs' turn. Stop.
Sorry.
Oh gosh, I'm getting confused now. Who am I?
I
What am
don't
I?
understand.
How did I get
What
here?
damn data?
This is gaslighting. Is what's going on right now, and I don't like it.
It's like the Spider-Man meme. You just data.
Yeah, pointing at each other.
Data.
I've had a pretty normal week. School will start back for the kids here in a couple of days. So they're still the age where they're excited about that. Poor little critters. They don't know reality yet. They don't know to be unhappy, so that's good. Let them enjoy it while
Sorry,
it lasts.
kids. It gets so much worse.
Yeah, I logged into Elite for a little bit, checked out the goings on in the Proteus wave system, and yeah, that's been about it.
All right. And Teflon, how have you been?
It's been a little bit since I was on. So I moved to Ohio from South Dakota.
Woo! Go
And-
Bearcats!
Clapping for you.
Oh wait, you're in the wrong part of Ohio.
The Toledo.
I'm near Toledo, yeah.
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 Like flyover country
North.
to flyover country. You
Yeah,
moved
pretty
there?
pretty
Interesting.
much, yes. But we're close to the family, so it's nice.
Cool.
But farther away from Chig.
Oh.
I miss you.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm closer to tracks.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So
Is that a threat?
yes,
Sounded like a threat.
it
It's
is.
a threat to Chig, I think.
No, it's not.
Oh. Oh dear.
I'm also closer to data.
Or
And
Dubs.
that's
Or-
not a
and
threat.
Dubs. You're
We can-
closer to Dubs too, I
we
think.
can-
Or
when you
in
moved.
Dubs.
Ohio
Anyway.
gang, we'll have to meet in Columbus someday.
I think
sometime.
you might be closest to NL Hate though.
I think I looked it up on Google Maps, and I was actually closest to you by a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Creepy.
But
I
anyway,
guess I'll just be
that's
all
fine.
alone down here.
That's
I
fine.
don't
Well,
feel particularly endangered.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because I don't really leave my house all that much. Anyway,
But if you come over, you're fucked.
I have played a little bit of Elite. The main thing I've been playing is when we got here to Ohio, and my son and my wife's smallest brother, then he's 9, they both got these cheap little drones. And when I was trying to work out to show them how to use it and get them working, I really like to play with the drone. Guess who's ordering a drone? That's not a cheap little
Nice.
drone.
To chat with Manitic. I think he's into that hobby as well.
I have just got into it, and I've already joined subreddits and
It's the first step. Yep.
YouTube channels and TikTok channels, and
It's a lot of fun. I
I'm
have one
I'm
too.
into it now. I cannot.
Y'all are gonna
wait.
make me want to buy one. You're talking about the first-person drones where you have like the headset on and you're flying it around.
No, but I'm gonna get there.
Oh,
We're on the path.
Yeah.
I may or may not start looking those up while we're doing the recording.
Uh,
You've triggered my irresponsible side.
isn't that triggered by default?
I think
Yeah.
so, but something has to remind it that it's there every once in a while.
Yeah, I get that. Other than that, I've really just been. I've played a little bit of Mass Effect. I haven't played very many video games just because trying to move across country and get things settled and organized, and the kids are getting ready to start school next week. So or not next week, this week, in like 2 days. And then I'll be back to somewhat normal schedule, and I could start working on some D&D stuff. I may or may already,
Yeah.
I may or
Look forward to
may not
that.
already, I may or may not have already started planning some stuff because I had some ideas.
Does it involve drones?
Maybe.
All right, sweet.
So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Wicked.
What have you
Good
been
job
up to?
moving. Well, I took a trip, right? So I was gone, and then the time I was back to being a night for my other podcast. So we're starting late because everybody waited for me, but I didn't want to be away from the show for that many weeks. We went on a trip. Our my co-host on my other podcast, he and his wife had their first child, and my wife went out there to sort of help him out and be an extra pair of hands while they get situated and stuff. She likes to do stuff like that for people. And then after I joined, my daughter and I joined her, we drove out later, a little road trip, just me and the girl, which was kind of fun. And visit with them a bit, and then we made it into another trip. We swung through Vermont, where my wife used to live, and she wants to show our kid around all kinds of places. And we did all kinds of wild stuff, and we rode on horses and in the mountains, and we went to the Ben and Jerry's ice cream factory, which, I mean, the air in that place is made of ice cream. It's like you can feel it. It's intense. I don't know if anybody's ever had the opportunity to be in an ice cream factory, but the air is heavy with sugar and lactose.
But all of that sounds hideous.
I once worked in a popcorn factory.
Oh man.
Same shit, different day, huh?
I mean, like it when we were doing the tins that had all the different kinds, and they were running chocolate. Boy, you could smell it. Let me tell you.
Oh man.
You just walk into work and smell chocolate all day, and try not to crave it. Like,
Yeah.
Closest thing we got
so
to
yeah.
that around here is a bakery over in across the river. Yep.
Fills the air.
Yep.
But yeah, so we did a trip, stayed out, and then I got back on Friday. I was gone. I was there for while all of the goings on in game were going on. Sort of kept up with it a little bit, but we went back. We stopped at Niagara Falls on the way back to show my daughter Niagara Falls. So that was pretty cool. And then came home, and I have been catching up on work over the weekend, and then tomorrow a crew comes to redo the floors on our first level. So we've cleaned up the house tonight right before started doing all this podcast stuff, and it's been kind of go. But I did have a little time to play. I did get in game and create myself some. I think we've decided they're spearmint relics, which was tough.
Apple Ranchers.
Yeah,
I'd
Apple
like
Ranchers.
to think of them as the breakdance module in my SRV. Because
yeah,
when I'm
the
trying,
occasionally turn me upside down module.
when I'm trying to leave and that fucking device keeps pulsing, and my SRV is like, and we're on our side, and we're gonna spin around. Like, all right, you do what the fuck you want to do while I struggle to get back to the fucking loading dock. Okay, asshole.
Yeah, it was tough. I lost. I came with 12 Guardian Relics, and I lost 6 of them before I got the system down, and so I ended up getting 6 green relics. But and then last night I did other things because Chig had gifted me a couple of VR games. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different, and so I played through Duck Season and Fisherman's Tale, which are so cool.
They're cool
Wabbit season.
experiences.
They're Yeah, duck season is it's like a funny take on sort of the 1980s Zapper Nintendo game thing, except in VR you're like inside of it, and then strange things start happening, and it gets pretty
The dog is
creepy.
standing there smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, like the dog is like a guy in a dog suit, and it's so funny. And then it like, without going into spoilers, it starts getting creepy, and apparently there's multiple endings for it, so I'll have to like try and do different things again. But I got a very murdery ending myself.
Oh, did you try out the little video game console in there where you can play, like, it's got like spoofs of Double Dragon that has a different name and all that stuff?
I saw the
play around with any of
cartridges. I couldn't figure out how to get them into the machine because I couldn't like step anywhere.
Oh yeah, you can put those all into the machine, and you can play all these
really?
silly little 8-bit games in there. Yeah, there's a lot of little, like, just Easter eggy stuff you can do.
Yeah, so it's fun because like you when you play the actual Duck Hunt, you go inside the TV, and if you turn around, you can see the kid watching the TV, but he's still matching your movements, but you're actually using a pump shotgun to shoot the ducks inside this TV, and it's wild. And then like creepy stuff starts happening. Anyway, and then the Fisherman's Tale is like a puzzle game where with like major perspective shift, and there's like you're manipulating a little puppet, but you also are the puppet, and there's a big guy above you, but it's actually you, and it's hard to explain.
Well, you're inside a lighthouse that has a model of a lighthouse in it. And when you take the roof off the model of the lighthouse, you can see yourself down in the model, and you can look up and see yourself looking down at you. So it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lighthouseception, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, did anybody hear Robot Chig again?
Yeah, I definitely just heard Robot Chig.
All right,
Yep.
Toggle the setting, Chig. Toggle the setting. We'll see. We're trying to work on it.
The lever.
Like, y'all act
yeah.
like he doesn't know what he's doing. He's definitely fucking with us.
Yeah, so anyway, that's what I did. I'm in game now. I'm thinking maybe I'll go over to 22460 and try to collect some logs and maybe some materials and dodge Thargoids for a while if I can help it. See what it's. I haven't actually been there since the thing went off. So let's see. How do I want to tackle this? Since Chig just roboted, let's do this. So we've been thinking kind of, over the years of this show, we've occasionally had talked about putting up a Patreon, but we didn't know what we would use it for, and so we never did. But here's the thing. Sometimes these weird recording hiccups happen, and it's very irritating to me as an audio engineer that I can't sort of have much control over the quality of the audio we get, because I also need it to be very easy and foolproof to do, or it's going to be a real struggle. But there are ways of doing much better than the free robots in Discord that we've been using, but they cost a little bit of money. So we could throw up a Patreon, and I would love to know basically how many people would be interested in supporting the Loose Screws podcast for $1. We don't need much. And if we end up with extra, I imagine a lot of people will be happy to support and will be just fine, and we'll be able to basically buy a better recording service that is multi-track, and we won't have these sorts of issues anymore, which will be great. And nobody will have to keep trying, telling me that the audio is screwed up, because there's nothing I can do about it if they tell me anyway. And so that would be lovely. And
we can fire Craig and Jark.
Right. We can stop using Craig and Giark. And who I would actually hire is the pay service that was created by the people who created Craig and Giark, but it works in a completely different way so that it doesn't have internet connection related issues. So, but anyway, it's possible that we would end up with a lot more money than we need as the podcast. And if that happened, we'd definitely find something useful to do with it, giving back to the community. It definitely wouldn't be going to any of us or anything like that, because that's not what's going on here. So, like when we've been able to help out members, or perhaps there's, I don't know what will come up. Maybe if things get really crazy, maybe we'll create some reward tiers or something that are actually include some kind of perk. But as of right now, it would I can't promise any of that. So it would just be like, pledge $1 and you're supporting the show, and then we can buy a better recording system, and it's not coming out of anybody's pockets.
First person to donate $1 million can come live in my basement.
Forever?
Forever.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, if you're gonna give $1 million, yeah, cool. That basement's yours.
If you pledge $1, you have endless opportunities to quote RoboCop and say, "I'd buy that for $1." That makes it worth it, if you ask me.
I'd buy that for $1.
I think the basic pledge, right, would be $1, but if we created a tier, maybe a $10 tier would be on every episode. You can write in and I'll read whatever bad dad joke you tell me to read.
Yeah, but
or
remember,
something.
the $1 million tier is Chig's basement.
The $1 million tier is Chig's basement. Okay, so I would say
Real tip, Chig.
if
Chig's
you
cheese chambers.
That means a little more than just the basement. You don't know what you're getting into there.
Oh, there's a gimp suit involved, that's for sure.
Oh.
All right. Well,
It
I'd
goes
love
on
if
Chig,
you,
though.
if you listeners want to put in show feedback, if you'd like to support, if you would be interested in supporting a Patreon, the Loose Screws podcast is never not going to be free. Don't worry about that. It's not like that at all. Regardless of what this outcome is, at the very least, look, if nobody wanted to support them, we just keep doing this, and the audio would occasionally be messed up, and it's really not that big a deal for most episodes, but I would like it to be better. So let's see what we can do. Okay, enough about that, shall we? I'll get that going over the next few days, perhaps. What should we tackle first? I mean, nobody's here that knows about the squad update. Is this the stuff from last week?
Let's
In the
just,
notes?
I'll do the squad update real quick.
All
Do we
right,
get a
hold on. Let me
sounder?
give you a sound. Let
Right.
me hit you up.
Incoming priority message.
Squadron briefing.
All right. I figure it's only fair that the guy who does the most BGS gives the BGS update, and that would be me. This is the squadron update. Come to the fucking
So
Discord.
humble.
Look at standing orders and find shit to do. We've always got stuff going on. We were fighting like 3 or 4 wars this week, just winning them all because that's what we do. Come fight wars, do BGS. It's awesome. Shout out to all the people last week that Nurgle brought up, like Blooming Face and Mana something. All those guys, you know who you are.
Mana.
He took something somewhere or something. You guys are the best. McGeek. Who else? Anybody want to name anybody? All right.
I would love to give
these
them
guys
all
all
names,
hate
but
you.
it's not my right.
Roger Rabbit.
Oh, Roger Rabbit does a lot.
Lark
Rick
Shadow sometimes.
Rick
I'm just reading who
Rick
posted in
Dalton.
that channel.
Well, what?
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 At least change
Well
the
played,
order
sir.
so it's disguised a little bit, you know?
Nurgle. Give a shout out to NL Hate.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Nurgle does BGS stuff for us?
He's always in there being the GS.
Yeah, he being the GS.
Isn't that what you guys said?
Shithead. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
great job.
Yeah,
Fighting
thank
the
you.
wars. Okay, Thargoid Bug Report. Thargoid Bug Report.
Oh, boy.
This is basically gonna. No, let's.
This is why we created the channel.
Let's flip it. Let's flip it
Or the
around.
segment.
So update 13 was yet to drop when you guys recorded last time. It has dropped. I will just say, like, do you guys want to talk about anything in particular? I am personally offended that it didn't contain any performance updates, even though that was like its stated purpose, and it basically got switched to being all about story and stuff like that. So
I try
But whatever.
so hard to not be salty. I honestly do, everybody, but I'm an angry, angry old man right now. So I'll let you guys talk
Your
first.
performance problems were related to a power slider.
That was, I'm not
Chigs,
talking
yeah.
performance issues with the game. I'm talking
Nah.
everything else.
Everything else.
True.
Okay, well, let's I'll say this, the CQC like constantly crashing bug is apparently fixed. There were briefly Thargoids spotted in CQC,
Oh,
and that
that's
was
awesome.
patched out a few days later.
You know, right? The
Okay.
cool things get patched so fast. Like,
Yeah,
guys,
right?
stop. Give me
Crash
my
a Condor.
07
No.
multicolored pad back. You didn't have to fix that so fast.
Listen
Yeah,
to this though.
you should have
CQC
no
is forever has had the Condor to desktop crash. Forever. Everybody in CQC hates it. If you're flying the Condor, you got a way higher chance of crashing the desktop. That's been in CQC for 5 fucking years. But Thargoid hopping in there is fixed in one goddamn day.
How does that even happen? That's the confusing part.
I know. It's like back in the server, Dav's got he's got a big knob that says Thargoid on it, and he just turned it one notch too far, and they spilled into CQC.
The word I saw was if you joined CQC from in game and you were in the HIP system,
Oh, awesome!
that would cause it to happen.
So,
That's what I
so
saw.
that's what it is. It's the thing that makes them drop in on any human that's in normal space.
It
They
might
were
not
like,
be-
well, these CQC players are in normal space. I'll go there.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't been able to use the in-game CQC join in a couple months. Every time I do it'll say match is spawn. I go to join the match, and it crashes me to me and you, and I got to join CQC that way. So I was trying to get into a CQC match when I heard about this bug from that system, and 4 or 5 times that's what it did. It would crash me to main menu, and then I'd have to join CQC from there. So I wasn't able to even experiment with that theory. The 22460 would bring Thargoids with me into CQC. So I have no idea.
Damn.
Oh, Craig got that half as good as I just got it. Because that
Yeah,
was rough.
I could understand what you were saying.
I mean, I understood every word, but if Craig got it any worse, then
You're auto tuned. That's what it sounds like.
yeah.
All right. I'm
It's
doing
fine.
local recording to a feed. Yeah. Throw something
Okay.
pop later.
Oh, that might be interesting. Yeah, we could try that. Okay, so let's see. So the other 2 issues we're tracking, like the performance issue that I put on the tracker, nothing related to performance was tackled at all. Nothing at all. Absolutely not. Don't care. And then what bothers me kind of more is that when questioned about it, the response from Sally on the forum was something to the effect of like, yeah, that kind of got shuffled around. Like this patch became kind of not about that, even though that's what we said. It's like, okay, like if you change your minds, that's fine, but you didn't say anything about that, so we had to ask. But then the rest of the response is like they're pretty much feeling like everything's generally okay, and unless there are specific issues, if there are specific issues, bring those up. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I worked on this for ages. I talked to tons of people and got people to vote. I spread it around as best I could. I talked about it on a podcast. I proved that it happens to all computers, regardless of how powerful they are, and showed people how to find that it's happening on their computer too. And we put it up. We voted it up. It's been on the first page of the issue tracker for months. And it's like, oh yeah, let us know if there are any specific performance issues. Like, what are you talking about? How am I not supposed to feel like that? And so I'm trying to set that aside because, like, I kind of think, I understand why the general sentiment about this update from a lot of other content creators has been extremely positive. And I really wish I could feel that way. I do like the story stuff. It's just, it offends me when they talk to me like that. It makes me feel like what? Why am I fighting my way through your issue tracker? And trying to make that work if you're going to be like, oh yeah, let us know. Like, it's confirmed, it's voted. So anyway,
some disconnect between the support side of things and the CMs and the devs.
I was glad to see the shadow, the flickering shadows thing is mostly fixed. I did see still flickering shadows when I was transitioning to the SRV from my crate. But that was the only place, and it used to be literally everywhere. So
we still
the wild light shadow that Chig experienced the other day. I don't know what was going on in that station. It looked like it was growing and it was coming to fucking get him.
It was crazy. And since I'm roboting I want to go on a massive rant. I'm not going to. I'll save it to myself.
Okay.
You do
Yeah,
have to
sorry.
look, but yeah.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, luckily we can still understand what you're saying, but it's a little weird.
Are we still getting
Yeah.
the low GPU utilization since the update? I haven't checked.
Oh yeah, nothing's
Around that.
different.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
mine
I
wasn't
honestly,
using all of its horsepower.
I didn't even. I mean, I didn't look. I could tell it was behaving the same way, and there was nothing about it in the notes. The thing is, like, if they fix something, if they fix that, it's going to be huge. Like, if they fix that, suddenly my GPU is going to have between like 20 and 50% more power to work on frames, because that's the delta between what it has available and what it's using in most scenes in this game, which means, I mean, that whatever. I don't have to talk about this again.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge, and I think it will be improvements on every single single player, regardless. So I think it'll be huge. I'm just don't even look for it anymore. So this other one, transition from the SRV to on foot causes a crash. I did not see that in the patch notes. Does anybody know if this?
So it doesn't crash like it doesn't take me anywhere. But when I was doing the relic relogging, trying to get them at the site, every once in a while I would have to get out of the SRV to shoot it manually. I'd say about half the time I would disembark from the SRV, I would just get a black screen, and that would be it. And I would have to force kill the application.
Okay. And well, so the thing that was highlighted on the issue tracker was then when you come back in, are you like a long way from your ship?
So when I came back in, I was in my ship, and the SRV was also inside the ship.
Okay.
Or no, maybe I was on foot. Either way, whatever happened, I was like, where the fuck's my SRV? Yeah, so it respawned me on foot. I was standing there in the Guardian area, which was funny because normally they remove you because it's a dangerous area, is
Right.
what they call it when you try to log. But it did spawn me back in the middle of the Guardian structure or whatever it was. And then I, hiked back over to my ship like, well, time to go get a new SRV. And oh, look, it's in the ship.
Oh, how nice.
So that's,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it. But yeah, that's the experience I had with it.
Okay, so that's different than I think what was going on with this issue that's on the issue tracker. So maybe it's fixed.
don't
and
know.
I just didn't notice, because I do have a tendency to I start to read patch notes and then I start to skim as I go.
Yeah.
Especially when there is no category for performance fixes. It's funny, when I was out at the Guardian sites, I did relog a few times, right, to get enough relics. And when I had been there previously to get weapon blueprints, I was doing the whole scenario. When I would relog after doing the scenario, it would place me quite a ways from the site, and I would drive back in the SRV. But this time, I wasn't doing the scenario. I was just grabbing relics and a few mats, because I was down like 10, technology components or something. And so I just grabbed those and then relogged, and I would still be sitting there right next to my ship. So
That's
it's
weird.
like something to do with the scenario not being activated or not.
I guess I've never really relogged at them without the scenario, but currently, even without activating the scenario, without charging the pylons, it makes me do the countdown timer and then puts me in a safe out of bounds position. But it leaves my ship sitting in the middle. Just it moves.
I think
whatever
I had
I'm
to do
doing.
I had to do the 15-second count, but
Yeah.
it didn't move me that time. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so that's probably related to the scenario starting or not. Anything? I don't even have the update notes here in the show notes. Is there anything you guys are grabbed your eye fixes in update 13?
There's a massive glowing
nothing I
green
recall.
squirrel. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll get to that. How about the only other thing, honestly, that I noticed, the shadowing, the flickering shadows was a fix that I noticed, and then moving some of the system info to the center of the HUD when doing a hyperspace jump, and then there's like a new panel on the left panel that shows like a summary, the new summary on your navigation panel. that shows some info about the system you're in, how many dockable ports, security level, and stuff like that. So honestly, there's a long list of things, but a lot of them were like cosmetic changes to stuff, installations, ships.
Oh, they say they fixed the where your FSD countdown will hang at 0. That's nice. I experienced that one a lot.
Okay.
Actually, been a while since I've seen that one. I forgot that was even an issue.
Yeah.
Which most of these were not super interesting to me. Most of these cosmetic fixes.
Yeah, so it seems like mostly the update was a lot of things that didn't have anything to do with performance, a couple of, visual bugs that's not a visual bug. A couple of things got fixed, so that's nice. But mostly they were just spent their time installing new stuff. It makes you wonder because often like updates seem to be on the latest acceptable range of when they said it would happen. And this one I feel like came right on time a little early.
Yeah, no big delays.
Yeah. And so maybe that's because there wasn't that much in it. It was really just a bunch of new art assets and, clearly changes, some kind of change that I think we haven't seen resolved yet as far as what Thargoid's incursions maybe are like. Because I saw a mention of there is a new BGS state for like a pending incursion or something. And I think there didn't used to be. So that could mean that there's a little more to it than just an incursion happens. And then there's like until we score enough points and then it's done.
Maybe they'll add more levels of incursion too. Like the incursion situation going on in our special new system. Maybe that'll be like you fuckers failed to repel the incursion. Now it's getting worse.
The way that would be cool. The way I'm reading this note, it's not this pending isn't a new state. It's one of their known issues that the starports aren't catching on fire when it moves from incursion pending to incursion. Starports are not currently catching fire. So
well,
we want them starports to burn.
That'll teach me to read or not read.
Use the rescue missions.
Take that sped rating course.
This is getting difficult to separate, but so at this point, one more technical thing. So the Horizons upgrade to 4.0 code base. So my read of this, my understanding of this, I think matched pretty much everyone's that this was the code base merge. It was going to allow Horizons players who don't own Odyssey to have the graphical engine of EDO, so they have a 4.0 graphical engine, but they have the Horizons features. And then, as a cherry on top, you also get the Scorpion SRV added to 4.0, and they can see some of the EDO settlements as long as they're on planets with no atmospheres. Right? And I was like, okay, great. So those are all the places that a Horizons person can instance. And they threw in the Scorpion. This is all, I think I even made a comment on the day that this is a very player-focused update. They were doing things that they didn't have to do for free. And, merging this code base will bring the galaxy back together, right? So people can finally start instancing together. And then they clarified it.
About that.
See, that's where you messed up. You said they didn't have to do it. So they were like, hold up.
Oh, Trax said we didn't have to do it.
Pull it back. We didn't have to do this. All right. We're not going to do it no more. Fuck these guys.
So they clarify. And I told Crash was saying earlier today, like, I'm confused by all this. I was like, I'll break it down for you. I'll break it down for you on the podcast. All right. So here's the deal. Pretty much exactly the opposite of all that is what's happening. The 4.0 is coming in some weeks from now, however many weeks. I don't know. It has to be less than 4, right? If they call it weeks. Anyway.
Who knows?
So some weeks from now, it was not included in Update 13. A new thing will appear in the launcher if you own Horizons with everybody. So everybody will have a new thing in the launcher because everyone owns Horizons. You will have 4.0. It will be the Odyssey graphics engine. And they hilariously talk about you will get all the performance of the Odyssey graphics engine. They literally use the word performance. I was face palming so hard. Like, what are you talking about? It's anyway. So the okay, sorry, Chig is just chatting to us. He doesn't want to speak because his audio is messed up and he feels like it's annoying. He's still here listening and chatting, and I just got distracted because I saw a chat message pop up. Okay. So everyone will have a new thing. It's 4.0. Horizons players can log into 4.0 and they can get the Scorpion SRV. They can see some of these settlements from EDO. I don't know what they'll be able to do with them, because can you do anything in an EDO settlement if you don't get out of your ship?
Yeah, there's a
station services.
There's the interface. Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
So there's like a commodity market that can be accessed from the ship or something?
Yeah, because you can access it from the on-foot panel computers also, I think.
Okay. All right. So there'll be some settlements that you can do something about, and you'll get a Scorpion SRV and you get the Odyssey graphics. But you won't be instancing with Odyssey people, and you won't be instancing with Horizons people that launched 3.8. So...
But... DJ Wiley reminded us that a year ago, FDev posted couple little tables about their Odyssey and Horizons compatibility, where after the console launch of Odyssey, RIP consoles, that we would be able to instance with Horizons players in space, for sure. It says, can instance with Horizons players in space, Odyssey owners, yes.
Well,
now they say to be confirmed on the issue of instancing with them on the surface. They weren't sure of that a year ago, but they were pretty sure about instancing in space.
Yeah. So instead of doing that, what we have is further segmentation of the player base into more different encapsulated things that can't see each other. There's a new one in the middle that instances with neither of the previous ones. And it is literally a demo. And I mean, I think they even started talking about it like that. It is just a demo so that you can see the graphics that you're missing. And from my perspective, so you can see the performance that you'll lose. So you can see how many frames you'll lose. And what the pretty deliciousness that you'll be gaining back from that. But rest assured, Horizons will not go away. I mean, the base game still exists. Like, let me look at my launcher. Where's my launcher? Oh, it doesn't show while the game's running. Of course not. But the base game still can be selected from the launcher. It's never going away. You'll still be able to log into Horizons as workarounds for the random bugs that will inevitably pop up, right?
Yeah, they got to keep Horizons for that reason at least.
Even if it was just for that reason, that's what they'll have to keep it for. So, okay, well, that's all the technical stuff. Is that a good enough explanation? It's just a demo. It's just to try to tease people to buy it. I assume they wanted that to be in place before the console players got their copies of Horizons PC gifted to them.
And just like ignoring what they said before, trying to rewrite history. Oh no, we've always meant that this will be the case. Right. Is annoying.
I mean,
that is annoying.
The game that you paid for is still there, and you're not paying a monthly subscription. So Odyssey's like $30. It's
and now now everybody will be able to try it out and see if they want to spend right. That's so I've got no problem with game demos. It's just absolutely the opposite of what was originally described. I mean, I game demos are great. There's no getting around it.
Get upset is if they removed the Horizons launcher and said, "All right, scrubs, buy Odyssey, or you're not playing anymore."
Yeah, buy Odyssey and upgrade your computers, right?
Yeah, we need every 3080 Ti minimum specs.
It divides the community. That's what Chig's saying in the chat. It's further dividing the community.
And the already small CQC community.
Right, that's right. Now we're going to have even more versions of CQC that can't see each other's lobbies. I honestly don't think this is going to be a huge thing. I don't think this is going to be hugely noticeable segmentation, right? Because people who haven't bought Odyssey yet, it's probably not because they just need to see what it looks like and then they'll buy it, because they can watch any of the videos and streams and stuff, right? They probably didn't buy it because they don't think their computers can run it, or they're not interested. In which case, they're still going to be running Horizons anyway. They're not going to boot up into 4.0.
To be fair, the Odyssey performance is significantly better than it was on launch, and even low-end PCs can handle it. It may not be ideal or perfect, but they can do it.
It's a significant drop from Horizons. It doesn't matter how you slice that bread. Like, you can say it's improved a lot. Yeah, it has. It's still significantly less performant than Horizons. If you are running whatever it is, if you're running your graphics anywhere near what, the line of what your computer is capable of, you will have to downgrade your graphics settings in order to make it run on here. Like, I have downgraded settings for my system. I'm on VR, so I'm pushing it exactly out to as far as it'll go, as far as hardware power is concerned. And I have downgraded settings in Odyssey compared to Horizons. I have to. It's awful.
Right.
And so the game, the resolution literally looks lower in Odyssey in order to make it perform almost as well as Horizons, but it still feels different. It's still noticeably less smooth, even with the downgraded graphics. So that's the hump that's going to have to be climbed here. So now everybody will find out what their computers can do. So, okay. So what happened in the story is that, who wants to take that? Who wants to take the story? Do you want me to play the Thargoid sound?
Yes, play the Thargoid sound.
New one?
All right. No, not the new one. So
Nice.
it happened. The man, the big man with the ego, fired his death ray.
It worked.
I assume.
fucked
I mean,
around.
we're late,
It's
and everybody
time.
saw the cutscene, so no spoilers in this. This episode will be spoiler full of spoilers. Yes.
It worked, and all the Thargoids died, and there's been nothing but peace within the galaxy.
Yeah,
And
we all handed in our Guardian weapons, and we've gone back to just bounty hunting now.
Well, Edmund Mahon stepped down, and the Empire became a republic and freed all their slaves, and it's just been
Sirius
galactic
Corporation is just not swindling people anymore.
peace. They actually became a non-profit.
President of the Federation stepped down. He didn't run for eternal re-election.
Yeah, he said he'd like to just be an administrator to help with the transition and then retire.
Yeah, I think
It's really, really mature of him, actually.
but they saw him leaving the Federation capital on Mars with 27 white bankers boxes headed for his private golf course on Abraham Lincoln Station. It's kind of weird.
Here we go.
We go in there.
Oh man. Okay, so the weapon fired. The cutscene. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the cutscene. Everybody, what do you think?
Thumbs up, because
It was cool.
Yeah, it's their. I think it's their first cutscene that I've really paid attention to or witnessed. So
First one in game that I've ever heard
I'd
of.
say they did
Yeah.
good. It was all right.
Exceeded my expectations because they did make it play in game. I had hoped it would happen. I thought it would probably appear as a YouTube. Great job putting it in game. And a cool cutscene.
Awesome sound.
And they'll only get better the
effects.
more they do them.
Sound
Yeah.
effects was great. The new
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
big-
there's a
they're
new
always going to be
the new
great.
Thargoid roar at the end. Everybody's analyzing it to death. I saw some. I think it was in this Discord, right? Somebody shared like, if you speed it up, like 300%. That sounded like
backwards.
nothing to me.
No,
it sounded like hello to me.
No, not even after.
You
hearing
thought it
what
had
it's
words
supposed-
in it? No, because here's the thing. Like I recognize many of the sounds that are going into that the Thargoid roars from like a sound design perspective. I'm not trying to like downplay them or make them seem less mysterious, but like I have paid attention to a lot of like sound design in movies and seen things about how they create the sounds from Jurassic Park and stuff like that. And many of the sounds that go into the Thargoid roar are not like time distorted. They're not sped up or anything. So you speed that up and it sounds like nothing. It wasn't slowed down to begin with.
I don't think it said hello. I just said what it sounded like.
It's definitely saying hello, and it's coming to visit us.
It's saying hello.
It's not in a friendly manner.
Was it one of the sound designers or sound producers was on the live stream when they did the stream after the update dropped?
I didn't get to see that. I was gone. Tell me about the stream.
He talked some. I don't remember if this fellow worked. He may have been around after they made the original Thargoid noises. But he knew the guy who worked with the guy who did make them. There's a lot of like brass instruments played very poorly. Was kind of what he could remember from it.
I love that. I definitely hear some crocodile in there. Crocodiles have this sort of it's not
Birdie.
really it's like this burpy, growly purr kind of thing that they do, and that makes it into all kinds of monster sounds the world over. I know it has to be in there. It's like this very thumpy, low growl thing.
I didn't watch all the stream, but I watched a fair bit of it, and they all seemed really happy. Really happy with themselves and how it all turned out, so that's good. It's good that the CM, the community management team, is in good spirits.
It was very nice to see them happy. And even though, speaking of the community managers, I will say, even though we all have criticisms and complaints of the game, we do appreciate everything you guys do.
Yeah. It's. I know. I ought to be saying that more, I guess. I feel like I have to. At a certain point, it's like, I said that already. I know it's not the community manager's decision when there's something happens in the game that I don't like, but you're right.
Probably not even their
they have to
decision.
field it all.
Yeah, it's not even their decision on what they're allowed to tell us. Yet we still attack them.
Yeah, so now that makes me realize, like earlier, I pretty much directly complained about Sally, something Sally said in the forums. I don't mean to complain about Sally. The answer that she has to give, wherever it came from, is a bad answer, and I don't like it. That's what I'm complaining about. Nothing personal. I wish no ill will on anyone, especially someone so happy as her. So, yes, the cutscene's rad. And I think for me, like what happened in the story I thought that was pretty great. I really didn't, there's been a wide range of interpretations of, whether it met people's expectations and stuff. I personally didn't expect any more change to the galaxy, at least not on this time scale right away. I thought something like this isn't exactly what I predicted, but something like this is in line with what I thought would happen. Like I thought something would be different about at least this system. And then more to come. So this is right in line with what I was thinking. What about you guys?
I felt fairly let down by it. I guess I was expecting or hoping there to be something new to do, more than just doing the same loop that has already been in the game. Something more new than what actually was added. And maybe my perspective is a bit distorted, because by the time I started playing this game, late 2019, I think it was, most of the big game systems, game mechanics, the Thargoids, the Guardian stuff with Antal, all that being discovered, all the engineers, that was all already figured out. And I mean, I would assume that those things came into the game in a similar way that this story is progressing to introduce something new. Maybe it was just my expectations were a bit off from how this game does things differently than other games.
At this point, we don't know if there was already stuff introduced. It's just going to take time for people to trickle in and find it. Like, we just got to wait for it to expose some. It may be like silent little things they slide in on the weekly tick. And it's like, oh, hey, by the way, now there's missions at fucking Palin's base or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, and
still too early to say that nothing happened.
I think I don't think it's stuff. Well, I don't know. There could be things in here that haven't been discovered yet. I think we've found things, and now like little bits need to progress. So, the should I talk for Chig?
Yeah, I was going to if you weren't.
You go ahead.
Try to voice act Chig though.
Yeah,
voice act Chig.
Sound like Chig.
You got it, Teflon, or me? You telling me to voice act him?
Yes, voice act him.
Should have given us something new and tougher to fight. They simply took away our best modules and weapons in a single system.
And needs more
to add some kind of artificial difficulty to the game, says Chig. I'm Chig.
Yeah, I don't think that's the end. Weak. I don't think that's the end of what's changed. Like I think what changed is the Thargoids own this system now. And
they
made
up.
it so that we can't fight back. In this system, all of our best stuff doesn't work right. They melt all our Guardian modules as soon as we get there, and they're wildly hostile. So now we've got a new mechanic where they will drop in and attack us without us going to find them. So that can propagate to other systems with or without this module destroying field. But something else is, so that's not the end of what was changed, right? Like now I think we have BGS progressions probably. Maybe they start to move. Maybe that's delayed a bit because they need to let this sort of play out, let people get in here and scan the wreckage. And what was discovered, speaking of something that goes off and gets discovered that wasn't just handed to us, was this stuff about the Guardian Relics. So now the relics, the blue key things can be plugged in. Well, I think they always could be plugged into Thargoid surface sites, but now when the surface site gets all angry and spits it back out again, it's turned green. And I did my part. I went and made some, and it was very difficult. Like I said, I lost 2 SRVs and 6 of the relics before I figured out how to do it without dying. And then, which is sort of neat to not be just already good at something in this game too. Like that was I don't know, it was minor, but it was like, oh wow, I'm not going to make this, So I made 6 of them. I took 1 each to Ramta and Palin. They do want to buy them. They will send you messages if you get into the system and you have one in your hold. And then they say they're going to get to work analyzing it and all this stuff. So like that's going to have some future payoff, right? In the same way that when Guardians were first discovered, investigating that technology and doing those missions and stuff eventually led to the hybrid tech modules that we have now, right? So something else is going to happen. Yep. It's just not here yet.
Hopefully so.
They'll introduce a protection module to protect your Guardian weapons and modules from whatever the fuck's going on in that system.
Yeah,
Somebody, I heard you guys had too many internal slots. We're going to go ahead and knock one of them out.
Yeah, I know. So the point that Chig is trying to make, I know because we've talked about it a lot, is like we need something that's new, that adds difficulty in an interesting way. And obviously there's a few ways to approach it. What they've done here is just stripped our ability to fight completely. Like I shouldn't say it like this because he's not here, but like I find myself disagreeing with Colin on Lave Radio. Like they didn't make Thargoids difficult again. They made Thargoids not fightable right now in this system. I'm not going to come here to fight Thargoids.
I mean, and
I'm going to wait for whatever plot thing. And that's a fine part of the story to interpret that way, right? But this isn't like if all of our Guardian tech doesn't work now for the rest of the game, I don't think that's got a chance of happening. Because once again, we've got fourth wall stuff, right? It's like they put this stuff in, they worked hard on it, even as much as just a few months ago with the modified Guardian guns. So, that's not going away, I'm sure. So something else has got to give. And I could, well, you go ahead. Go ahead.
The default thing that comes to my mind and most people's minds as to what Ramtal and Palin are doing with these green Jolly Ranchers. Is it sour apple or is it watermelon flavored? The green Jolly Ranchers. It's watermelon
Sour
flavored, isn't it?
apple.
Sour apple.
I'm
Watermelon.
pretty sure I've never seen a
Watermelon's
green
like a reddish
watermelon flavor.
Watermelon's green sometimes. In candy.
I think it could be
And
green. I'm
what?
not
Really?
worried about either
Maybe
one.
I'm not paying enough attention.
Anyways.
I just see, like, when I'm eating candy, I identify it by the color, not the flavor.
Okay. Jake's got the answers. Watermelon
Good to
Ranchers
know.
are pink. Or pink. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, instead of new weapons or modules they develop, what else could they be doing with these things? What's the next Galnet we're going to see coming from that, from Ramtal? They're figuring out what the Thargoid bases are doing, why they sent out that green pulse, why they're turning these blue relics, blue raspberry ranchers into sour apples.
Right. So I could see something coming where the Thargoid's reciprocal shutdown field, right? If that becomes the thing we're having to deal with in other systems, then these green Jolly Ranchers have to be some way of dealing with that, whether it's a new module or some way of modifying our existing modules so that they'll be resistant to it or something.
I could see this setting up another CG. We found out we need mass quantities of this Guardian piece.
Bring them in.
Counter another CG.
Is it a hybrid Guardian Thargoid? Is that what it is? Is that what the green thing is?
Maybe. It's both.
Ours at this point.
Can I have a hybrid Guardian Thargoid human module? Can I have all? It's all three in one module.
I want their FSD. Damn it!
A hybrid human Guardian Thargoid SLF.
Yeah, it's like a little Thargon. It's like a big Thargon going around.
Oh man, Thargon SLFs would be amazing.
with some kind of Guardian parts in it too, right? So
I want to launch them out my pack hounds.
Oh, pack hounds that are Thargons.
That'd be fucking sweet.
It's like that gun from the first Half-Life game, which shoots those little swarms.
The Needler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you're listening to our ideas because they're brilliant.
Chick wants the Thargon Sentinel Swarm. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you guys all go? Did you guys make your Jolly Ranchers yet?
I made 3. I lost 3 due to unexpected SRV explosions, which didn't even come from like you being attacked. Like
you'd made it out already?
SRV did some unexpected breakdance moves into the wall one too many times. And I'd already been beaten up a little bit beforehand.
About this also. He was telling me the other day he had lots of buggy issues that messed it up for him. He'll tell us sometime when he can. But
but I do have my 3, and I plan on turning about 20 more of them.
I'm still trying to get out to do mine.
The actual process is pretty hairy because, I mean, I had never been in the Thargoid surface site, so that was pretty cool.
It's not so bad if you go in there as the aggressor and go ahead and just decide you're going to kill all them little bastards before. Because if they turn on you and there's like 10 of them come into that room while your fucking SRV is being thrown around and you don't know what's going on, that's when shit starts to suck. But you got to go ahead and get the violence out of the way before you activate the thing.
That's one way to handle it. I honestly was trying to ignore them. I feel like with 4 pips to systems, they kind of, even with a crowd of them, they almost don't have enough damage to take me out as long as I kind of stay moving because they seem to have a melee weapon, right? They really have to come right up on you to do any damage. So there's only like 3 or 4 of them that can even get to you if they surround you.
It could also be contributed to the fact that my SRV threw itself into the beam
Oh.
That could have been a part of why I died and lost my shields.
The earthquakey kind of situation gets really tough, and the massive heat. And somebody warned me ahead of time that at 300% your SRV explodes. Plus, you're carrying the Thargoid tech that's probably corrosive that lets you open the door in the first place. Also, so the whole time your modules are melting from that. And then once the heat starts, so eventually I got to the point where I fired it off. I scanned it and started the thing. And then when they popped out green, I grabbed one and then left the room and let my heat cool down. And then came in and got the second one and then left the room till my heat came down. And as long as I did that, I was fine. So that's what I would suggest. I didn't even shoot the stupid things, but I guess I kind of thought that it was probably making more the whole time. So I didn't even bother trying to shoot them because I thought they would just make more. Is that not the case?
No, it only turns to 3. Or are you talking about the stupid little guys roving around?
The scavengers, yeah.
Honestly, I've never paid attention to whether or not more spawn in.
I guess there weren't enough to bother you and you just got them and left, huh?
Yeah, well, what I do is I cleared the room, activated it, grabbed my 3 little things, and buggied on out of there, ignoring any other ones that I ran into until I got to the ship. Because they're obviously not going to fuck with my Anaconda shields, so...
No, I thought they were pretty cool. They like when I was milling about, because there's a bunch of meta alloys you can find around, and if you go into the other rooms, other chambers, there's some other Thargoid materials you can pick up and cargo, technology samples and stuff.
You can ride the scavengers on foot. It's a little buggy. And it's not what I would call like a. It's kind of like when you glitch jump onto something and your character's like can't decide if it's falling or not, so it's just kind of sitting there bouncing in one spot. And as long as you're like moving and staying in the center of the top of it, you can ride it around and go where it goes. Not useful whatsoever, but now you know you can do it if you didn't already.
I didn't.
I haven't done it yet. I will. I was waiting on a helpful guide video, which Astro has put out. So
Astro has you ignored the scavers, so.
I mean, maybe I'm just a violent person. All right, I fuck those guys. Yeah. They were there when I died. Therefore, they're not allowed to be there anymore when I go for my Jolly Ranchers.
He has you do 4 pips to systems and 2 to engines, and then he says basically they don't do enough damage to be the problem. You got to get out for the heat anyway. So
yeah, the heat's probably what done me in. But fuck them, they're still gonna die.
Just be the aggressor. We're the aggressors anyway.
Look, being the aggressor hasn't backfired on us yet, has it?
Has it?
What? Maybe there may or may not be an entire system we can't fucking fight in because of it, but hey, that's all good. Consequences to our actions. I like it. You can't always fucking win. I think this is a good thing.
And what's the response to that? Is it to try and mellow out and maybe negotiate? No, fucking double down. Kill the shit out of
We're gonna fight them again. We're gonna come
kill
back.
Them even harder.
We ain't stopping. One of us is gonna get wiped out, and it ain't gonna be me.
Well, you just have the ability to respawn infinitely. So,
is the corrosion-resistant cargo rack? That's like a regular human tech broker unlock where you unlock it once.
The size 4 is. The size 1 you can only buy from 2 engineer bases. Palin is one of them. And you simply buy it. It's not an unlock.
I don't think it's really worth even fucking with. You may as well just go for the 4. I really wish I'd gotten the larger one.
You have, because like I flew my crate out there and I didn't want to swap out a size 4 slot just to carry like 2 sensors or whatever. So I went and just swung by whatever Palin's base is in Arc and just bought one of the size 1s. 2 slots,
that makes
all
sense.
I needed. Yeah.
So what happens if you carry 3 of the said item?
The 3rd will start to corrode my shit.
Okay. I haven't tried that yet. I haven't really heard if anyone had.
Because like obviously I had a bunch of other cargo. I was carrying a bunch of relics and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, if I were you, I'd bring more than 1 sensor because I lost, like I said, I lost 2 SRVs before I finally figured it out. And the first SRV, I had 2 sensors, and the second time out, after I lost the first SRV, it was like, oh shoot. So there's like other stuff in there. So if you bring one with you, before you go doing this scenario at all, you can go into the other chambers in the Thargoid base and pick up some of the like technology samples and stuff. I'm pretty sure those will trigger the door too. So it said anything Thargoid will trigger the door.
I think it has to be like one of the things that'll corrode your cargo hold. I don't know if just
Probably.
any of the the shit you can pick up outside the door. I don't
Should
think
Google
it'll
that.
work, but I also don't.
Does it corrode your SRV super fast? It's small.
No, I didn't feel much pressure from it.
If I did get, my life support broke like twice. I think, well, no, I think maybe one of them I managed to do without my life support breaking. I don't know. I was sort of playing. I looked at Astro's guide kind of after I had tried it a couple of times and failed. So the first I was like milling around as I was like, oh shoot, there's meta alloys out here. So I was driving around with the sensor in my SRV for a while, picking up meta alloys, and then I was like, okay, well let's start this thing. And I didn't look at my modules, but they're probably like several of them are half dead. The thing is, the corrosive picks one module at random, and that's the one it will corrode. Right. So, and it could even be a broken one already.
Speaking of that, I don't know if this has changed yet, but not just one, not each sensor doesn't choose a module. They all, if you're carrying more than one, they all hit that same module. So
yes.
when like an
So
idiot, I loaded
3.
60. Yeah, I put 64 of them in my fucking exploration anaconda one because I needed to get them somewhere fast. And I made a jump, and I'm going through Super Cruise, and then my windscreen just explodes. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? It targeted the canopy. And then I'm going around, and then it's just like laser gone. Like, it's like, oh shit, whatever module it chooses is gone.
Yeah, because they do like 4 or 6
3%.
damage or whatever. Well, the percent will depend on the integrity of the module, right? But they'll do like 4 or 6 per hit, each individual sensor. So you have 60 of them that you're getting like well over 100 damage.
Oh, it was one-shotting modules
every minute and a half or whatever it is.
I'm like, oh fuck, I'm halfway through this journey. Please don't go for the power plant. That would have sucked.
Yeah. There's a whole Reddit thread about like how to, from back in the day when they were unidentified artifacts and you could bomb stations with them, when they had detrimental effects to stations. So people would, load up however many they could and then set up this quick thing where they're going to get them where they need to be in time. It's true.
Unnecessary violence. Just, you know what? Hey, fuck this station, man. Let's all take some shit to it that messes it up.
Well,
we would do.
They would do that to mess with other factions and stuff, because it would take down the station's services and stuff.
Wow.
Oh, we would 100% do that to people in BGS. So yeah, I could see that. That's useful.
I more or less just meant like me and you. We would totally do that.
Oh yeah, I would. I like things that are random and make no fucking sense.
Like dropping.
I like it even more when the game developers are like, "All right, yeah, this is the thing. Let's do it. Let's push it further."
Like when World of Warcraft, when they had that event where the plague spread and people intentionally were spreading it to the cities to kill off the NPCs, and it disrupted the whole game's economy because it was killing off the auctioneers and it was awesome.
Like, wow, guys, kind of suck. That's not very cool.
We need more shit like that in this game.
Kill off an engineer.
Cool.
Oh, well, shit.
Okay, so the items that will open I just looked it up. According to the Elite Dangerous fandom wiki thing, sensor, probe, and link are the 3 items that can open the door. They also are, all 3 will open the door. The mechanism inside requires one of each. Like in order to get the map to show up,
Yeah.
Which I guess is why when you start doing it, there's like a little hologram of which one you're supposed to give it into
don't need to
each
do that.
slot.
So you just carry the sensor and the 3 blue relics.
So yeah, so you're not the Scorpion, the non-Scorpion SRV, the Scarab, which has 4 cargo, thankfully now. You bring any of those 3 with you, and it will. The door will open. The door won't open to the structure at all unless you have one of those in your hold. And then the other 3 slots you put Guardian Relics in, and just give it Guardian Relics instead of what it's asking for.
Okay.
And then it gets wicked pissed off. but it spits them out green.
Yeah, it still gives you the candy, man. That's all that matters.
Gotta get in the white van, get the candy.
I might get beat up a little bit while I'm in there, but I got that damn candy.
And boy, does it kick you around. One time I should get the things I actually need and see the star map business.
It was cool.
Anyway.
I don't know if they fixed it yet, but the star map would get locked to its position, and then as the planet rotated, it would leave the star map, so you would like start drifting out of the room. I feel like I've seen somewhere in a patch note before that was fixed, but that's the thing that used to happen.
That's
hilarious.
That's such an elite thing.
It's like how did that happen? Like
That's always
fuck?
the sort of bug, right? That it's like,
Yeah.
oh
Like
my
this
God.
game keeps track of every planet's rotation, and it's just like, all right, Matt, bye. Like you got
Right.
locked some random position instead of to the planet. Like somehow it's kind of like when you're trying to catch Midran Hollow and you can't catch it until you're like in its instance, and then boom, you're just fucking at its speed. Somehow the map
Right.
just never got locked to the planet's rotation.
It's like in any other game, the instance that contained this thing would be its own separate thing, right? It wouldn't be measuring the position of planets and stuff like that. There's gonna be no way. Yeah.
But something that happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, is that are we good?
I mean,
Is that a
I got
podcast?
nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
That's it.
size of it. There's Operation Too Hot Too Messy is still going on from the Hutton Orbital truckers. Did you guys get your salvation paints from Twitch drops? A bunch of affiliates had
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. But
yeah.
then again,
who
if
was, like,
it's not
streaming
Midnight Black,
on the day before, the day of, and the day after, they each had FDL, I think Eagle and Crate Mark II. They had red ones. It's basically a red version of the thing that had been given away for a bunch of the CGs. It's the Salvation logo.
I was too busy.
The Azimuth logo, whatever.
I mean, is that logo going to carry any weight anymore? I think he kind of fucked us.
I mean, it's still a target on your back, if you ask me.
Yeah. I don't know. If Salvation pops back up and he's like, "Look, guys, I made a mistake, but we can fix it," I'm gonna be like, "You know what? All right, let's see where this goes." I'm supporting him. Let's go for
there's-
Thargoids.
We're doing
If he's
fine with our
honest
Gauss
from here out.
cannons. We were doing fine with our regular weapons. We didn't need the super weapon at
exactly.
all.
Everything
It's
was
gotten
going
worse.
much better when I was just killing them mercilessly with shard cannons and stuff. So here's what we'll do before we end today. Do you think? Well, so first of all, there was a keen eyes spotted that in the cutscene, what appeared to be the image of Salvation on the bridge of a ship looking over the Proteus wave as it goes off. When you zoom in, you see that the little panel is the name of the ship is Nemesis. So it is not the Bright Sentinel, but even eagle eyes aside, more eagle-brained people pointed out that is, we're pretty sure, the name of ARF's carrier.
Yeah, I was going to
So they
say, I think
filmed
it's Deaf Guy Garrett.
Which is, and we know that they were in the video, like their player characters were in the video. So that's just where they recorded the video assets. Okay, great.
Like, guys, it wasn't supposed to mean anything. Stop looking into it.
Right. Nemesis is Arf's carrier. They just used a carrier bridge for that scene. It's anyway.
Oh my god, they should have used mine. Guys, I will let you use it for a cutscene.
But that leaves us with one more question, and we'll just leave the show with this, I think. Do you think Salvation is dead?
Absolutely not.
Somebody on the forum said they saw a little bit of him over here and a little over there.
Hey, that's my boy you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in witch space floating around.
Salvation's dead. What do you think?
Oh yeah. He's still
No.
out there
You think
somewhere. He's out there
You think he's
somewhere.
alive? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got plot armor, guys. There ain't no way he dead.
Yeah.
Teflon?
He and Salome are chilling at Raxla. In all seriousness, I think yes, he's still alive.
I think he actually. Well, I don't know. You guys are giving me pause. I think I was gonna say I think he could be dead. I'm not like saying I'm totally convinced, but it's
Could
like
be.
I'm not actually gonna be.
He was captured, and he's gonna be like a Locutus. I think somebody said that he's gonna come back.
He's gonna
and
be.
say your base are belong to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna do him like they did fucking Kerrigan.
Lore.
One last thing. I don't have like too much to say about, but we should mention old Dave Braben's not CEO anymore.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I forgot to put it in the show notes. Yeah, he's a board member still.
Founder and president. He is now. I don't know if it's like a ceremonial role or what.
Either Salvation's not dead or his son Deliverance is going to show up.
So do we know anything about the new CEO yet?
I've only watched Astro's videos on him.
Okay.
He appears to be he is a zoology major in college, one of his degrees. So that kind of makes you think he likes the zoo tycoon.
He's a zoo guy. Yeah.
Yeah, a tycoon guy, Jurassic World guy.
That's where the money is.
Yep. I don't read too much into
animal trafficking.
Into what this means for Elite. I don't know anything about that. Yeah. I don't know anything about anything, but even less so game business.
All right. Well, good job, David Braben. You cashed out.
You did it.
Not really.
The American dream. Oh wait. The British dream.
The British American. What?
How many tea bags did he cash out with? That's the currency. That's the currency there, right?
The Muppet movie, the Muppet Christmas Carol, when Scrooge is in the past at his old schoolhouse, and Sam the Eagle is the professor, and he says, "It's the American way," and somebody whispers in his ear, he's like, "It's the British way." Gets me every time. Every time. Muppet Christmas Carol. It's the best.
All right. How many years? Tell me how many years old the Muppet Christmas Carol is, and then we'll call it a night.
Oh, it's
So wait, you look that up. I'm
30 years old.
30 years old. Today. Yeah. On this very day. Can you believe it that the Christmas Carol came out on August 15th, 30 years ago?
It's wild.
It was a different time. You know?
It was 30 years ago.
Before oh gosh, before the Thargoids had conquered 22,460.
This is going to be.
We were but children.
It was what could be the BC AD CE. What's our designator for
before Proteus?
Yeah, BP before Proteus.
BP.
Yeah.
Before Proteus, I like that.
Well, I don't want to name it after Salvation. That guy was a dick.
I mean, he probably still is.
All right. If you like the show, give us a rating. If you want to support us in Patreon, let us know in the show feedback, and I'll set that up. And hopefully we'll we'll be all set up to run recordings in a little bit higher quality. And not have to deal with this sort of connection bullshit. And whatever's going on near Chig's house that's causing the internet to just like blink on and off several times per second, we hope it resolves soon because we'll miss him. And check out our merch store, discord.io/loosescrews for Discord. The merch store is loosescrewsed.com. And that's it. There you can get your swag. So thanks everyone for joining me. It was Chig and Dubs and Data and Teflon, and I am Commander Jantrax. It was fun, and now it's almost midnight, and I didn't even look at the clock until just now. So,
Big oof.
whoop, signing off. Fly loose and screwy. Say goodbye, everybody.
And
Goodbye,
support
everybody.
Innovation again.
Nope.
I will.
Nope.
I mean, I probably will if it pays.